Okay, welcome once again, YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today we're doing the continuation of the, I would say, show and tell of my collection. I've shown some slabs in the past, signatures, we've done some raw, silver age, bronze, and we are up to now the modern age. So if you want to see some of my favorites in my collection for the modern age, come on back after the short video intro. See you soon. Comic Sniper here, along with my trusty sidekick Mark III, my lovable flying Iron Man, and together we thank you very much for tuning into my channel. And as I said earlier, we are doing the continuation, which is the next part to my favorites collection. Just showing some of my books that I have in my collection, and we are going from. I started off with slabs earlier, so if you want to check out some of those videos, I did some slab favorites, slab videos, as well as some signatures, and then I started off in the Silver Age, moved on to the Bronze, and then now we're actually into the Modern Age. So now the Modern Age is basically encompasses anything after 1986. So, and it keeps going. So it's going to be the, biggest age so far. I know there was a Copper Age after the Bronze Age, which I believe kind of cut it down but it was in that obscure period around 1986 to 95, I believe. So somewhere around there, 10 years. It's kind of a short period, and I really don't have a lot within that period that I find my favorites, that I find particularly favorite, at least in my collection anyway. So I know there's some great books in there, but unfortunately I don't really have enough to do a full video. So I'm going to have to just do a modern, and I just picked out 10 books to show you that in the modern era, right up to today. So that that caught my eye. They're not necessarily have to be keys, they don't necessarily have to be high value. They're just, in my opinion, what I have in my collection and what I like to have personally in my collection. So that's what we're going off of. And then of course we can we'll try to continue on with different levels of what I have in my collection going forward. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so as we get going here, we're just going to start off with a fun favorite right off the bat. This is my Alf number 48. I got this just recently, and who cannot find this thing fun, right? It's just a hilarious cover. I don't actually know how this passed the comic code, because it has some innuendo in it, and it's like, the face of the seal. It's this just puts it into the realm of obscurity and and just tongue-in-cheek kind of fun, right? So that's why as soon as I saw this cover in other people's collection, I was like, I have to have one of these as well. So this has to be part of my collection. So that's why I put this. Now we're not going off of anything particular order wise, except for maybe the last few. The last few will be some of my more favorite comic books in my collection, modern age, that is. Okay, so this is Alf number 48, and this came out in 1991. So for those of you who are interested in knowing that. Okay, and then next up, so parental. This is a bit of a this is a collection. This is my favorite collection, so you've been kind of warned. This is more of a taboo, let's say, risque cover. Okay, so if you don't like those kind of things, if you don't like seeing anything risque wise, turn away, maybe fast forward to the next part. Okay, so you've been warned, and here is the next one. This is just got this year. This is 2018. This is Baby Badass number 3, and Just fantastic cover. Just love the way this is an homage, or you know, a swipe from the Coppertone commercial and their logo, and that's you know, with the way the baby is pulling on the shorts. So, and by the way, I, for the life of me, I remember seeing this and I thought, oh, what was that? What was this from? And it wasn't until I showed this on one of the first time I acquired this video on one of my haul videos, and that the YouTube community actually stepped up and was able to tell me what this was from. So that is the Coppertone. That is a Coppertone ad. It was what this cover is a swipe up. So that's why, and it's just strictly a fun cover, right? I don't really collect this. This is I think this is a new title, so it's not. But when I saw it, I thought, you know what, this has to. I just had to pick it up just because it was such a fun looking cover. All right, so that's number 2, and then number 3, we're starting to get into a little bit more of a key. This is definitely one of the new keys. 2011, the Ultimate Fallout number 4 came out. This is the first print, and this is the importance of this book is, of course, this is the first appearance of Miles Morales as Spider-Man. As you can see, this is the more sought after one, where his face is hidden, and then there's another cover of this where his face is revealed as well. But this is more of the first one. This is the first print, and yeah, with the Spider-Man Miles Morales animated movie coming out, that also has Silk that's going to be featured in it as well. So this book is definitely taken off, and it's heating up. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, make sure you want to check. Make sure you keep a lookout for that, and make sure if you can find it on the cheap, definitely I would recommend picking up this book. But yeah, so this is definitely a modern key. That's why it's in one of my favorites collection. All right. Okay, moving on. This one has been on a lot of people's favorites for a long time, and we still have hopes that this Saga number 1 that came out in 2012, that they're, it's such a great story and such a refreshing story. So, and the casting, I think it would look great actually on a, maybe as a Netflix series, if they can put some money into it to make the costume and the look. This of course takes place in space and in different worlds. So I would love to see this thing, actually go on the either on Netflix kind of a series, or on a big screen. I think as a trilogy, I think this would go really well. So it's kind of one of those, Lord of the Rings kind of esque. I think storyline would do great with this. So if they put it as a big budget, just a fantastic story. So this is the number 1 first print. Okay, that's why this is more sought after, and that's why I like, this is one of my favorites in my collection. All right. Up next is artist based, and if you've seen any of my previous videos, I love this artist. He is one of my favorite newer artists. Of course, we are talking about Adam Hughes, and this is one of his, I think, most badass, sexy, beautiful covers. This is Catwoman number 51. Of course, the way she's featured here, just front and center, this is kind of like a police lineup, as you can see there. Fantastic cover. Lately he's taken a backseat more to the Stanley Art Germ covers. He's been doing a lot of good ones, but some of his earlier stuff like this, man, it is just fantastic. The composition on this is just phenomenal. So that's why it's always, and it's actually a lot of people's favorite as well, Adam Hughes. So And nowadays, trying to acquire some of these more sought after Adam Hughes covers is the value of these ones that are really skyrocketing, and definitely trying to acquire them is takes a little bit of, you know, either sniping, right, or perseverance, or a lot of money, right? Okay, so that is the next one. What are we at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're halfway through. And then next up, of course, we're always gonna have my favorite character of all time in it, but Amazing Spider-Man 361. But this one is a key because of this fantastic villain right here, Carnage. Right, this is first appearance of Carnage. This is the first print, and this came out in 1992. So yeah, with the Venom movie coming out, and of course him being a villain in that movie. Now I remember I saw the trailer, but we didn't see him yet, so they're saving him. I believe wait till we see him probably in the last teaser trailer. So that's what I'm thinking, at least. If they do that, if they put him in the last trailer, this book it's already skyrocketed. This book is definitely up in value, and continues to go up in value, especially the first print. There is a second print that's got a darker, more silver, where the white is, the background. So that's how you know that's the second print. But this is the first print. This is the one you wanna, if you're gonna collect the actual sought after one, you want the first print. And then that's why but yeah, no, when he shows up on the trailer, of course, and then when the movie comes out, hopefully it's a good one. And if it is, this book is gonna continue on its rise up. So that's why this is kind of one of more of a modern key, and definitely an important one. All right, so keep an eye on that. Okay, this one, the next one is I would say a two-parter because of the story that's in it. I'm talking about the Uncanny X-Men number 221, and this one, well, this one came out in 1986, and it is the first, as you can see, Wolverine versus Sabretooth round 1. And why this is a two-parter is because the one behind it is 213, and this one came out in 1987. So it's, you know, December, January. So that's why it's in 1987. And this is the one where they are actually fighting on the cover. So this is more my favorite cover. I just love this cover. It's one of my all-time great covers that's my favorite. But this is the first time these two and these two, you know, because it's a continuation, this is the first time they meet and fought on what do you call that, on the actual book. I know there's a Wolverine 10 that people kind of tout as the first time they actually met, but it's, or the first time they fought, but that one is an actual, like a throwback. So as far as actual timeline is concerned, since this came out in 1986 and 1987, this is the actual time that these two fought against each other. So that's why it's that's the relevance of these two books. And with this cover, man, the ferocity of this, I remember reading this, and the way they went at it, that's when I kind of really knew how fierce and you know, what's the word for it, you know, Wolverine is, you know, how vicious he really is when they fought each other, and how they, you know, they just loved it, that how they're really good at fighting and just going nuts, right, letting loose the rage. I'm kind of getting into it now because just kind of talking about it just gets me excited. I love that story, and how it's Chris Claremont, you know, kind of wrote it down, and how he told the story. Fantastic. So that's why it definitely has always been, especially in the modern area. Yeah, this is definitely, these two together. They're usually together, and that's why they're definitely has to be on my favorites list. All right, and for those of you, I've known some people in the past have talked about, you know, not reading what's inside, guys. Don't assume, okay? Just because we always, you know, we don't have time to go over the actual story inside and open up the pages, but definitely, I'm a comic book lover, and I love reading as well as enjoying the art, and I don't collect just for the value, as some of you might guess, okay? Guess incorrectly for that matter. So, but anyways, moving on. The next one, speaking of artists and art, this is my hands down favorite Adam Hughes cover, JSA Classified #1. Just the way, first time I saw this Power Girl cover, I was blown away. Just the way he's, it's not just because it's definitely a sexy cover, you know, with Power Girl, but first time I saw it, I didn't catch it exactly, but because, you know, you're paying attention to what's up front, but the way she's actually you're looking down from space, and then you have the plane and then it has a shadow on the clouds. That I thought, wow, that, you know, the depth perception and the way it's composed, you know, especially like the cape, how much detail and stuff is around. Man, it's great art right there. That is that's why this right now, hands down, this probably is one of my all-time favorites for if not my favorite Adam Hughes cover. I know there's a lot more expensive ones that, you know, out there, and there's a lot more sought after and has more value, but as far as actual Adam Hughes art, I don't have them all, so I mean, I'd love to see them, but this just captivated my attention right off the bat, and just the composition, the way it's done, definitely caught my attention, and still does. So that's why it's really high on the list for my favorites. All right, so we're down to the last couple. All right, and this one has to do with the fact that it's not only is it my favorite character, Amazing Spider-Man 306, and this one came out in 1988. But this book really represents something to me. I just got this book this year, and not only is it because, you know, it's such a great art, it's got the Action 1 homage cover with Spider-Man doing the Superman thing. So, you know, of course, this is a great cover. That's a homage to that, of course, that, you know, the biggest grail. So, but actually, and this, of course, it is a really high grade book too, but more than anything, because I got this actually at a comic show this year, and this was given to me by my kids, so for Father's Day. So that's why it means a lot to me. I did want this book. This book was one of the books that's on my list to have in my personal collection. I always like this this cover and this issue, but my kids took the time enough to find that out and know that I didn't actually have this one in my collection yet, and they got it for me. So yeah, so it means something to me on a personal level. That's why it's very high on the list. All right, so we're down to the nitty-gritty, the last one. But before we do, I'm just gonna give a few honorable mentions, just for fun's sake as well. This one, as an honorable mention, is Airboy #5. This came out in 1986, and the Valkyrie cover here, it's more of a throwback, you know, kind of a retro type cover. Just love the art, and more of a very cartoonish, you know, Saturday morning cartoon feel to it. That's why I love this cover. It's an awesome cover. So That's why it gets at least an honorable mention. I just got this too. And then there's this one as an honorable mention as well, the New Mutants Annual #2. This is the first appearance of Psylocke. Something about pink covers. We don't have enough pink covers. You know, I always thought this was a really pretty cool background to use. But since Psylocke is a really important character and this is her first appearance, definitely this one falls into a key comic book area. So that's why it at least manages a honorable mention. And then one more honorable mention just for the heck of it. A Preacher #1. Definitely a key first appearance, and you know, the first one in the series, and with the AMC series going, you know, great series. Love the ongoing series for now. It was a bit, you know, wild, and at times, you know, hard to follow at the beginning. I gotta admit, but once you got going, definitely captures your attention, and it leaves you kind of wanting to watch more. So that's why it is a favorite series of mine. And I just got a huge 22 book collection of this, which I'm starting to read as well. So yeah, enjoying the book and the series at the same time. So that's why this gets an honorable mention as well. Okay, so down to the last one, modern favorites in my collection. I wish I had the, you know, other ones. I know there's a lot more modern keys and things that I want, but these are the ones I actually currently have in my collection. And the #1 modern book that I have in my collection that's my favorite right now is the NYX #3. This is the this is pretty much you know, getting up there to be a huge key, and to be kind of a next modern grail because of the Wolverine, right? She you know, Laura Kinney, the girl in the Logan movie, of course, she plays X-23, and this is her first appearance in NYX. Now, it's not, you know, she's not she's only in character based on this character, but you know, they don't do her story like this, right? This is a bit dark. What they used in the Logan movie, you know, was a bit more of a movie friendly. Even though it was rated R, it was still a movie friendly story rather than the one you have here. But this one is highly sought after. Definitely, it skyrocketed when the movie came out. The movie did great. The girl who played Laura Kinney in that movie did a fantastic job. I thought she was spot on. Very likable. Very, you know, for her to portray, you know, that character, she was just, you know, she was just like a little Wolverine, right? She very excitable, and very good portrayal of that character. So yeah, it definitely captured the hearts, and people really like this character. So look for her, look for more of her to come in the future, especially since Marvel is about to acquire Fox. So what they can do with this character remains to be seen. You know, I'm not sure if they're gonna, you know, what they would do as far as the actual the little girl that played her, whether they'll continue that or not. I've never heard of anything. I don't know if you guys have. If you guys have, you know, maybe a rumor mill out there, let me know. But aside from that, but yeah, this is, you know, steadily has gained value and really hasn't come down much. If anything, has moved up, and then people are really still after this book, and keeping an eye out, and it's keeping the price really relatively high on this. So yeah, it's a lot of people are holding on to this book too for their collection. So yeah, make sure if you're able to pick this up for cheap, definitely I would definitely go for it. It is fast becoming a modern, what you would call a modern Grail book, all right, for a lot of people. So that's why it is the last one on my favorites list. Guys, thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate you sharing this time and allowing me to share some of my favorites collection, not necessarily most valuable, but just the ones that stand out for me in my collection. That's always the case, and for that, again, I thank you very much for sticking with me through this time. So I also want to give a nice shout out to my newest subscribers out there. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. You should be seeing some of your names coming up on the screen anytime now. And of course, if you also want your name on future videos as a shout out, all I ask is one thing: just subscribe to my channel. Make sure you do that. And of course, if you like the series that I'm doing here, you know, my showing my collection, make sure you hit that like button. That'll tell me I'm you know, on the right track. And then of course, if you ring that notification bell, that'll let you know when other videos of mine come out, and that way you won't miss my other continuation to this or other series. And of course, always love to hear from you. Always want to hear what you've got. So if you can leave your comment down below, tell me what you think of this video. Maybe some of this you have as well. Share with me your thoughts on what your favorite modern comic book might be. Maybe you have you know, what you potentially a grail that maybe I don't have, or maybe you have some of this as well and you agree. Let me know. Either way, I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so with that, yeah, so look out for my, you know, we're up to modern now, but I'll think of other ones to show from my collection. I don't have like a massive boxes and, you know, rooms after rooms of boxes like some people do, but definitely, you know, I try not to collect quantity, because otherwise my wife would kill me. That would take up too much room. So I'm going for mostly quality, the ones that I like and what I want in my collection more than anything, rather than quantity. All right, so thank you very much again. Comic Sniper here along with Mark III. If you want to check out my other favorite videos, I'll put some up here for you. So click on some of those. That'll get you some of my videos. That'll put you to some of my other favorites videos that I've made in this series. So yeah, come check those out. And then but yeah, for myself and Mark III, we thank you guys for watching. And while you guys are collecting all your modern keys as well as your other keys and favorite books out there, make sure you enjoy the hunt. Okay, we'll talk to you later. Bye bye now.